The Chameleon Virus. The air in the quarantine zone was thick with the acrid stench of antiseptics and decay. Dim, flickering fluorescent lights cast long, jagged shadows across the steel walls of the research facility. A labyrinth of sterile corridors that now felt more like a tomb. Dr. Alina Voss stumbled through the halls, her breath ragged, her body trembling. She clutched her abdomen as a searing heat radiated from within, a fever that no medication could quell. She had been exposed. It had been a mistake one. She replayed in her mind in an endless, looping nightmare. A hairline crack in the containment chamber, a hiss of escaping gas, paint, sweet odor of something unnatural. The Chameleon Virus, they had called it. A marvel of bioengineering meant to reshape humanity for survival in the harshest environments. But it was no miracle. It was a curse, and now it was inside her. The first signs had been subtle, a tingling beneath her skin, a faint discoloration on her forearm. She had dismissed it as stress, as exhaustion. But as she moved deeper into the facility, the changes became impossible to ignore. Her skin shimmered faintly under the harsh lights, the pigmentation shifting like oil on water. She pressed her hand against the wall for support, and her palm began to mimic the cold, metallic texture of the surface. She yanked it away, horrified, watching as her flesh rippled, struggling to return to its original form. The virus was adapting her, changing her. She staggered into the observation chamber, where the glass walls overlooked the sprawling forest beyond the facility. The sight of the trees, their gnarled branches clawing at the sky, filled her with a momentary sense of longing, freedom, escape. But the virus was relentless, and the forest would be no sanctuary. She had seen what happened to the others. She had watched their transformations through the safety of a monitor, their bodies twisting and contorting as the virus responded to every environmental stimulus. One man, trapped in a room filled with water vapor, had grown translucent, his organs visible beneath his gelatinous skin. Another, exposed to ultraviolet light, had erupted in spiny, crystalline growths, his screams muffled by the jagged shards that tore through his throat. Elena's legs buckled, and she collapsed to the floor. Her reflection in the glass caught her eye, and she froze. Her face was no longer her own. The contours of her features had softened, her cheekbones flattening, her jaw narrowing. Her eyes, once a warm hazel, now gleamed with an iridescent sheen, their pupils elongated like a predator's. She reached up to touch her face, but her fingers were no longer fingers. They had elongated, the nails retracting as the flesh hardened into something claw-like. She let out a strangled cry, the sound alien to her ears. A guttural rasp that echoed in the empty chamber. The virus was accelerating. She crawled toward the exit, her mind a whirlwind of panic and denial. She couldn't stay here. The facility was a death trap, its sterile walls a constant reminder of her failure. But outside, the forest loomed, its shadows deep and impenetrable. She knew what would happen if she ventured into its depths. The virus would seize upon the new environment, reshaping her into something monstrous, something that could survive in the wild. She would lose herself completely, But hadn't she already? Her thoughts were becoming fragmented, her memories slipping through her fingers like sand. She struggled to recall her name, her purpose, the life she had lived before this nightmare. The virus wasn't just consuming her body, it was devouring her mind. She clawed at the floor, her movements jerky and uncoordinated, as if her limbs no longer obeyed her. The walls around her seemed to pulse and breathe, the fluorescent lights casting distorted shadows that danced like specters. She reached the airlock, her trembling hand hovering over the control panel. Beyond the reinforced glass, the forest beckoned, its darkness both a promise and a threat. She hesitated, her mind a battleground of fear and instinct. The virus whispered to her, a primal urge to adapt, to survive. It didn't care about her humanity. It didn't care about her soul. With a shuddering breath, she slammed her hand against the panel. The airlock hissed open, and the cool night air rushed in, carrying with it the scent of damp earth and decay. She stumbled forward, her bare feet sinking into the soft soil. The forest enveloped her, its shadows swallowing her whole. The transformation was immediate. Her skin darkened, the pigmentation deepening to match the bark of the trees. Her limbs elongated, her joints cracking and reshaping as her body adapted to the towering canopy above. Her spine arched, her posture shifting as her muscles thickened and coiled. She fell to all fours, her hands and feet digging into the earth, her nails sharpening into claws. Her breathing grew shallow, her chest heaving as the virus rewrote her biology, erasing the last vestiges of her humanity. And then silence. The forest was still, the only sound the faint rustle of leaves in the wind. Where Alina had stood, there was now a creature, its form grotesque and alien, its eyes gleaming with a cold, predatory intelligence. It tilted its head, sniffing the air, its movements fluid and unnatural. For a moment, it seemed to hesitate, as if searching for something, a memory, a name, a purpose. But the moment passed, and the creature turned, disappearing into the shadows. The chameleon virus had claimed another victim, and the forest had gained another predator.